If you had to make one distinction between the character you play and who you are, what would you like people to be most confident of? You cooler than Ron?
Definitely, yeah.
You want to reassure people you wouldn't have worn that coat?
No, yeah. I like to think I'm a bit braver than him, because he can be a bit of a wimp sometimes, and I don't know, I always felt I could sort of relate to him in some ways anyway, like, obviously we both got ginger hair and big families, so...
Yeah, ginger hair and big families.
Yeah, that's us, yeah.
What about you? Anything you want to reassure people?
I think, like most people, I wouldn't say I am as brave as Harry is, really, sort of in contrast sort of to what Rupert said. I don't think I am actually as brave as Harry is. I think few people sort of are, really, because I think he's... And I'm obviously, you know, I'm not as troubled as Harry, because, you know, I didn't lose my parents at age 1, I think it was, or something like that. So yeah, I think that's probably the main thing.
And what about you? You're presumably incredibly clever.
No, no, not as clever as she is anyway. She's, you know, in a bit of a league of her own. But no, probably, well, hopefully, I'm not going to get any support from these two, but hopefully less annoying. She's quite...
No, you aren't as annoying as Hermione, don't worry.
Yeah. No, there is a bit of support there. But no, she's quite wound up, Hermione. She's really, you know, what's the word? She's
uptight?
Yeah, she's uptight. She's uptight. Yeah, that's exactly it. Thank you, Dan. She's so sort of eager and, you know, which is great, but probably I'm a little bit more chilled out, you know, a little bit more relaxed, but, yeah, no.
Swim, do a back somersault, and then back to your kit, yeah?
OK.
Dan rose to the challenge and undertook something that I think, you know, many adults would have been fearful of. He was brilliant.
We obviously wanted to get as much practice in as possible for the underwater stuff, so we trained for about 6 months before. We started off not very deep at all, just in a normal, quite shallow swimming pool. It was great because I just could go down there and be confident. We all wanted it to look as natural as possible, and so that's why we trained for so long. And then I was ready for the 20-foot tank.
How's that, Dan?
Yeah, it's great.
Very good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Being youngsters, we needed to be able to create the underwater environment, so we designed and built this tank. It's a very complex piece of equipment. The tank itself holds about 500,000 gallons of water, which is 2.5 million litres. It's probably the best tank in the world for filming.
When Dan's in, go straight over to the rostrum with Dan.
That's Dan descending down the stairs here.
When I actually went in, it was so vast, so much more so than I had actually imagined.
Dan, so nice and slow on the way in.
Dan also has to worry about one other thing, which is performance. You know, it's all right swimming around like a fish, but Dan eventually has to give you the Harry Potter performance.
That a boy, Harry. Your parents would be proud. Especially your filthy muggle mother.
You don't know where he's coming from. I think when people are very scary when you don't know quite, when you suspect they might suddenly do something very violent.
1063.
You have to judge that, try and get it right. It's not too much, and yet if it's not forceful enough, it doesn't count.
Why do they have to travel in packs? I mean, how are you supposed to get one of their own to ask? What I like about Harry is he's pathetic at the whole romance thing. He's rubbish. There's a really good scene, it was one of the last ones we shot, with Harry and Cho, where he asks her to the ball. And he does it incredibly without any kind of tact. He kind of shouts it out like, I just wondered if you wanted to go to the ball with me.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. So many people can relate to this terrible issue of asking people out.
I know how it feels to be kind of standing there going, Yeah, and having nothing to say.
What happened to you?
You just asked Fleur to look all around.
What? Couldn't help it. Just sort of slipped out.
In real life, it was pretty scary. So, it was a lot easier to do than acting.
We and our guests gather in the Great Hall for a night of well-mannered frivolity.
This year, there's the issue of the girls, the dancing and the Yule Ball.
Everyone was dressed up. None of us had a clue what we were doing.
I knew I was going to have to dance in front of everyone else.
I'm afraid of falling or something, and everybody turned around pointing and laughing.
All the kids were able to let loose.